DNP and clenbuterol 9-day fat loss cycle, an extreme one. I told Trevor no expense spared. Give me a list of everything I could take that goes together that will burn as much fat as possible in 9 days, including the diet that goes along with it. Because we're meeting up with Boston Lloyd in Florida in 10 days. And Boston Lloyd's lost 33 pounds on DNP, and he's shredded. I just saw recent pictures of him. Meanwhile, we just got back from San Diego, and I got fat, and I haven't dieted at all. I haven't even done cardio in months. So it's time to throw in some cardio. It's time to throw in all these supplements. Trevor's just going to list off. We just had a 30-minute conversation about the whys of all of this, but I just want him to list it off because otherwise the video is going to be an hour long.
All right. Well, before we start, I could have always told him do a gram on DNP for a week, and he would be right there, and it would have already worked.
We wouldn't even need the rest of this stuff.
Yeah, but
I have to give the disclaimer, guys. Don't do anything that we do. This is entertainment, educational purposes only. This is not medical or legal advice. A lot of people think we're crazy for even talking about DNP because they're or any of these things because they're afraid that it's going to convince other people it's okay. It's not okay. I do it because I'm a professional.
So, nothing beats hard work, and if you're trying to look your best, it's going to show. So we're going to do this a little bit different route. He asked for what my opinion was, and I always try and do the hard work because that's how you get the results, how I've done it. So we'll start with the clenbuterol, and it's starts with 20 micrograms. You're going to feel 20 micrograms, and you go up from there per 20 micrograms. As soon as the shakes and the heart, anything the side effect wise does stop, you only go up in 20 microgram increments. It will be working still, so there is a build up. You just want to start low and work your way up in low increments because I'm not a big fan of Clen, but it works really well with DNP and it works really well with T3. The other drug would be the T3, and it would be 12.5 micrograms twice a day. And depending on the size, the quality, which I'm sure is going to be fine, you would go up to 25 twice a day. But with everything he's going to be doing, he's already going to be at a calorie deficit. I guarantee it. He's going to lose a lot of weight. But it is such a short time, he's not going to be able to adapt to it too fast. But this is an example. And the growth hormone is going to be every 3 to 4 hours. Always going to do a shot every 3 to 4 hours when you can get around to it. I'm always a big fan of just taking it with a meal because that right there, you never forget your meals. And it's just going to remind you to do your growth hormone. So that's usually the best way to remember it. And the dosing with that is all going to be dependent on the brand of growth hormone being used. So if it was a pharmaceutical company that you got it from here in the States, not ordered it overseas, I would be taking anywhere between 1 to probably 2 units minimum of that every 3 to 4 hours. And the insulin, we do have to have the insulin, but with the protocol we're doing, we're just going to do the first and third shot, and we're going to do 3 units, and that's going to be it. Still going to be low.
3 units each shot?
Yeah, and just the first and third shot, and it's going to be enough to get the IGF, and it's going to roll over into the middle shot, the between shots of that. Because the shot we're going to do before bed, you don't want with the insulin for what we're doing. You're going to be on the IGF-LR3, 50 micrograms to start, and towards the end of it, you'd be up to about 100, 125, depending on how long. We got 10 days. And the whole purpose of this, guys, is not only do we want to lose the fat, but we want to rebound him. So he's going to be flat, he's going to lose the fat, and then when we take out all these fat burners and his calorie demand drops, when we keep doing the carbohydrates and we have all these different drugs like the growth hormone, the insulin, and the IGF, he's going to compensate. He's going to super compensate, and he's going to fill out. Kind of like a mild rebound post-contest thing or filling out for a show without having to do a keto diet. He's going to do the MK before bed. And if he doesn't have the hunger, if it's not insane, which I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure I'll notice it right away because I see him eat every day. If it's not an issue, then he's going to do it 3 times, morning, midday, before bed, and that's going to work really well with the growth hormone. The MK is the oral growth hormone, and so we're going to mix that because the growth hormone, when he's taking those in conjunction, he's not going to have that negative feedback loop. He's going to take advantage of an endogenous and exogenous pulse together. And as far as supplements, we're going to do 1 to 2 slim pills a meal. And the reason for this is he's going to be on an extremely low fat diet, and an extremely high carb diet. And we want to keep his insulin sensitivity good. And what happens when you cut some of those fats out and you are on a high carb diet and your metabolism's going crazy from cardio and training, you do remain insulin sensitive. It does happen. Contrary to what people think, we can get into that in another video. But he's going to be doing vegetables and clean carbohydrates. And this is the big thing. He can eat carbohydrates any meal that he is excessively hungry. He's going to start with his protein. He's going to start with some vegetables. And then the rest, he's going to eat carbohydrates till he's full. So this is going to be, because he's not mechanical, we can't just add and say we're going to do X amount of calories today. And it's just, that's going to be the threshold. It doesn't work like that. We're trying to take advantage of 9 days, so we have to be really specific on what we're doing. We can't just give him a number and expect 9 days it's going to be the most effective number. We're doing the very low fat. I did say orlistat in his system if he ends up screwing up or cooking with oil or something happens. But with this type of diet, you really don't want orlistat because we have to add essential fatty acids 3 times a day. And there's a trick to it. You're going to trick your body into thinking it's getting enough fatty acids to do what it needs to do without the excess calories from the fats. So his body is going to be able to do repairs and still function on very, very low carbs as long as his essential fats are high. He's not going to do carbs or slim before bed unless he had skipped a carb meal or worked out late. So this is all tailoring to making the most effectiveness out of this. And not everyone can have the same day. So that's why I add this little side note.
But what if I have midnight cravings? What can I eat?
You start with the protein, the vegetables, and then if you're still hungry, you can add that in.
Okay.
And if you're up, take advantage of it, drink water, and take your growth hormone shot again. So always take advantage of that situation. And same, eat as much vegetables as you want, and clean carbs per meal. Now, fiber is another big thing. You're going to get a lot through the clean carbohydrates, and you're going to notice you go very flat on this diet quick. So you might be doing a lot more white carbs as we go along. And in which case we're already going to be doing fiber, morning, midday, if you're around. And the dosing on it, it's not very important. The very important one is before bed. And what we're trying to take advantage of is doing a high dose of the fiber before bed. He's not going to be too bloated because it's going to be in a system. And at the same time, if you get bloated before bed, it's good. You won't wake up starving, trying to eat everything in your house. But what happens is by the time you wake up in the morning, it starts push through your system, right? If you have water in your system, pushes through your system, scrapes your intestines clean, gets rid of everything in your colon and gut. You'll wake up, you'll clog a porta potty, that's my saying. And you'll notice the veins, it pulls water out of you, and those veins and your waist comes down a lot. So everything you ate through the day is pushing out, it's keeping your waist tight. The DMP, we're gonna still do DMP because of the time crunch, and it's gonna be between 200-300 milligrams maximum. We don't want anything more than that because you would already go flat on this diet in the first place because we still want to do some cardio 20 minutes either morning or after workout. And that's going to be a big thing. Separating cardio and training is very important, and it's going to help keep his metabolism healthy as long as he's eating enough calories. And he's going to have enough carbohydrates to function with his energy, to have strength in the gym, to have strength for cardio and energy for all this. That's the whole purpose of this diet. People don't understand carbohydrates can be good on a diet because you have more energy to push yourself beyond failure still, which in turn not only burns calories, but sparks other mechanisms. And then 4 to 7 days, depending on how you look, it's usually about 5 to 7, but 4 to 7 days, there's a quote cheat meal you would call it, but it's just really a high fat meal. And it's to get those extra fats because you're going to be burning so much. You're not going to be able to keep up with those essential fatty acids, and you do have to get fats in there. You're going to have some cells that are still destroyed, and overall it has to be done. Same with having high carb meals on a keto diet. And then the ephedrine is in there as needed, and that's going to be your biggest thing. Now, all the auxiliaries to this, to keeping you healthy, you already know what to take, and you can explain that to them.
Yeah, I'll take vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. Vitamin E, around 600 IU in the morning and night. Obviously, vitamin D, multivitamin. The fish oil he already mentioned, all these things for health. The fiber is for health. So Coach Trevor, this is what he does. He coaches people. So he gave me this plan. Whether I can stick to it or not is the next question, because we're going to be traveling. We're always traveling. We travel 365 days a year. Even if we're in Sacramento, we're doing some kind of adventure. So we're going to be in Hawaii. So it's, but he's going to be with me. So he's going to try and keep me on schedule as much as possible.
That's why there's so many side notes to this. That's why I add those in.
Oh, the anabolics, the mint. Don't forget what you're going to say. But I'm probably going to run mint with it to see how that interacts with the fat loss. And if not, then I'll run SARMs. It's either going to be SARMs or mint.
Yeah, and with the cycle, I figure you're going to be on the same cycle that you've been doing. That's why I don't add anything with the cycle. With the carbohydrates, I'm always big on the growth hormone, insulin, and tren combo being your most effective, and something with the estrogen, which would be the MET or D-ball. MET being even preferred more. The D-ball would help kill the appetite, and running a mild AI with that, preferably the Romasin or light Letro. And those are going to be your main ingredients, your main staple. Now, whether you add anything else to that or not, it's going to be primarily up to you. We're trying to rebound you and keep water off you. If we add Primo now, it's too late to add Primo. Something like an Anavar for, like what we talked about with the abilities of that, and then the rebound off all these synergies together is going to be a big thing. So those MET, Anavar, and Tren, and your low dose of testosterone, and your AI, a mild AI, is going to be your biggest thing. So, and then the code red is going to be added in there with the yohimbine as tolerated. The code red is kind of like you had mentioned, the multivitamin of fat loss. It's giving you everything you need in terms of potential to burn fat, because there's yohimbine in it. There's not a lot compared to having the actual yohimbi itself. And if you were to take too much code red, there is caffeine in it, so you would be taking a lot of other things. But here's the purpose of running the code red with it is you're hitting it from alpha, you're hitting it from beta, you're hitting it at the mitochondrial level, you're hitting it from every angle you can possibly think of. So when you have growth hormone, T3, and DMP in your system, the rate at which you can break up fat is that much more.
Yeah, this is overkill, guys. Most people, most even bodybuilders, don't take all of this stuff at the same time to try and lose fat. But I want to do this kind of shotgun approach, and all of these things are very synergistic with each other, so I should be able to lose a lot of fat really fast, so long as I don't screw up on my diet and skip training days. That's really the main thing. There's so much more I want to tell you guys about this. We'll do follow-up videos along the way. While we're in Hawaii with beautiful scenery, we'll tell you why it is we're doing some of these things. Until then, be swell and swole, my friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution.